Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here and to see you all. I kind of feel like Jean sort of summed things up. I'm not sure I need to really say anything more. But she did want me to bring a couple of handouts, so, dutifully I did. So while those are coming around, I thought I'd just start with a personal story about how what's going on with our federal budget is affecting me personally, close to home. And I'm pretty sure that every one of you could tell his or her own personal story about how what's going on with the budget is affecting your lives. But here's mine. My older daughter is a teacher in Boston. And for the last couple of years, she's been running one branch of a program called Citizen Schools that you may have heard of. It's a national program that works in high poverty schools. And the idea is to organize out of school time for high poverty kids and do academic enrichment and organize the community to support these kids with internships to kind of expand their horizons. And she runs also something called the 8th Grade Academy, which is for the older students to give them the sense that they can go to college and equip them with the academic skills to get there. Well, I talked to her a couple of days ago, and she said that the funding for the program, a lot of it comes from the AmeriCorps program, a federal program, and it's been slashed. And so she said she was informed that probably her program is going to be completely shut down next year. She's going to be fine. She had already decided she wanted to go back to teaching, and so she's got a job she's very excited about. But the principal of this school doesn't yet know this news. He's going to find out on Monday. And neither do all the students who keep on coming up to her and saying, boy, I really want to be in this program, I'm really excited about it. Parents calling her, can I get my kid into this program? And she, at this point, has to say, well, I'll put you on the waiting list and we'll see. And instead, it looks like the program is going away. So that's my story, and as I say, sorry. I'm pretty sure all of you have your own stories to tell about the effects of this, of what's going on with the budget. And I think we're all here also because we know where the money needs to come from to address and prevent this ongoing catastrophe. So in your handouts, let's look at this one, and let's look at the chart at the bottom. I'm sorry, the so-called regular military budget, which is what we spend whether we go to war or not. And the Pentagon, as you see, has used these wars to jack up this budget as well. Then we've got a thin stripe of orange, which is not Pentagon spending. It's the Energy Department's budget primarily for nuclear weapons. Most of the nuclear weapons are funded through the Energy Department, so that's that slice. And then on top is the expanding war funding. So in this 10 years, we can see which way the budget is headed. Then if you take your other handout and you look on the back at the pie at the bottom, this is a pie of world military spending, and we see the section that the United States makes up, but then which is not, sometimes you hear the statistic, we're spending more than the rest of the world put together. Well, that's not quite true. But certainly we're spending, if you put in our NATO allies, certainly we're spending far more than the rest of the world put together. And then you think about the rest of the world, and that includes countries that are not in NATO, like Sweden, Australia, Costa Rica, countries like that, which, it's not likely that we're going to be going to war with anytime soon. And then right under the heading, military spending U.S. versus the world, we have the countries that are, they used to be calling them the rogue states. They're the countries that, we do have conflicts with, and their total military spending makes up about 1% of world military spending. What's missing here is China. That is often touted as our next military competitor. They're not entirely transparent about what they spend on the military, but even by the most expansive estimates of what they spend, the U.S. spends by itself, not with the NATO allies. The U.S. by itself spends at least 6 times what China is spending. So we are not in danger. We have cuts that can be made. Then let's go back to the other handout, to the pie at the top. Here we see the red portion, which is the military portion of our budget. This is just the discretionary budget. So discretionary means what Congress votes on every year, as opposed to so-called entitlements, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. So this is what they vote on every year, and it does include war spending, but we look at the size of the slice that's going to the military as opposed to everything else. There's an organization called the National Priorities Project, which Jean, I know, has used for this great letter that I suppose she'll talk about, that they just got 40 Maryland legislators to sign, basically saying let's change this pie. Maryland needs the money, and so does every other state for other things. This is a great project, National Priorities Project. I happen to be on the board, so I have a reason to tout it, but it does extraordinary work, kind of breaking down national priorities, military versus everything else, and they actually will break it down state by state. So I just pulled up their fact sheet on Maryland, and it has some illustrative trade-offs for what Maryland is contributing to the war effort in terms of our tax dollars, and what we are foregoing for that reason. So they looked at education. So you looked about halfway down, you see that only about a third of the children who are eligible for Head Start are actually in Head Start programs. And then what we're spending for the war effort and what it could fund in terms of providing Head Start for all the children who need it. They do that for health, and they do that for the environment. So I think, have we got any disagreement that this military budget needs to be cut, and Maryland needs the money?